There's often a lot of advice about how to ride canter transitions, how to go into the canter. But today I want to talk about what happens when we come out of the canter. Because let's face it, this transition is actually just as important. Sometimes if you're learning to ride the canter, it might feel like a sigh of relief of like, oh, I cantered, I got it, now we're going to slow down. But the truth is, if you have one of those jarring transitions coming back out of the canter, it's not going to make it very fun to ride the canter again. So the transition coming down is just as important. I'm Callie. I'm here today with Applejax, who is one of our school horses at the farm campus in Honeybrook Stables in Pennsylvania. And Applejax is going to help me demonstrate transitions from canter to trot. Now, just like anything in riding, there's actually so many pieces that can come into this. There's rider alignment, there's the balance of the horse, there's how well does the horse understand the down transition, is he anxious, does equipment fit well? We always have to look at the big picture in our riding. And fortunately, here at Horse Class, we have lots of information, lots of resources, including the free videos of the show to help you do that. So today we're going to narrow in and just understand that we're narrowing in, but you've got to make sure that you're looking at these other factors because each is important. For example, if your horse is hollowing his back and having a really terrible transition because his saddle is hitting him each time that he changes gaits, then it doesn't matter how well you ride it, you're still going to have the problem. However, this is going to really help with your riding this specific transition. So there's two principles here, and you can take these into any transition. The first is to think about the rhythm. So I'm always kind of holding the rhythm of the gait that I'm in my mind. So at walk, 1, 2, 3, 4. At trot, 1, 2, 1, 2. And at canter, that rolling feeling of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I recommended this in the video on going into canter, on those canter transitions, and how important it can be to feel and to hold that idea of that change of rhythm, going from 1, 2, 1, 2, if you're going trot to canter, into 1, 2, 3. Here we're going to do the opposite, so we're thinking of that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then going down to 1, 2, 1, 2. What this really helps with is it means that we're riding every gait. So we're not just coming out of canter and then collapsing into an unbalanced trot. We've got to ride the trot just as much as we were riding at the canter. The other thing to remember is balance. So the balance is more important than just getting the gait. For example, if I'm cantering a horse and I need to set up for the trot transition a few times where I half halt, I prepare for the transition, and I feel my horse losing balance, like they're just going to break and go into a really rushing trot or one of those really jarring trots that feels like it could spring you out of the saddle, I'm going to ask for a few more steps of canter, rebalance there at canter, and then go ahead and try that transition again. So we're always focusing on balance more than just getting the transition. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead out here at pick up a trot and pick up a canter, and then let's do some of these transitions together. So at trot here, I'm going to go ahead and pick up a canter transition. And now something to note about that canter transition is I kept my rising trot into the transition. So I didn't just sit and push for canter. I kept a rising trot to have a smoother transition, and that's part of the key for my down transition, is I'm going to start rising as soon as we do our transition. So by rising, as soon as we go into the trot, I'm not sitting and bouncing on his back and driving his back down. In fact, as soon as we hit the trot, I was thinking about lifting again and encouraging him to lift his back for the nice transition. Let's look at that again. Canter. That one wasn't quite as smooth going up into it. He lifted his head and hollowed just a little. We're still working on his training too, and as a school horse, it's not like he's only ridden by experienced riders. He has some little holes in his training too. Okay, now I'm going to come back to trot. And notice how I keep rising, or I should say I start rising as soon as we come to trot. And I just close my outside fingers a little bit so that I encouraged him to reach as soon as he came into that trot. Good boy. And walk. Good boy. So notice that I focused again on riding just as much in that downward transition as I did in the upward transition. And that's really a key for having a good transition. This is important for your canter to trot, but it's just as true if you're going trot to walk, or even if you're coming down to halt. It's about staying balanced in that halt, not just kind of sliding in to a really unbalanced, sloppy looking halt or any downward transition. So I hope that you found this video helpful. We have hundreds of more free videos as well as premium courses at Horse Class. If you're watching this anywhere besides horseclass.com, go there for great conversation in the comments under the videos, for hundreds of more videos, and to browse our other resources as well. Leave a comment down below. What is one tip that has helped you riding your transitions? And what is the transition that you currently find most challenging? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the comments.